William Shakespeare was born in April 1564 in a small town called Stratford-upon-Avon. His father, John Shakespeare, made gloves and sold wool. His mother, Mary, was the daughter of a farmer. They lived in a simple house on Henley Street. The town was peaceful, with green fields and a slow, winding river. Farmers worked hard in the fields. Traders sold goods in the market. Children ran and played in the streets. As a young boy, William went to the local grammar school. The school was made of old stone and had wooden benches. The teacher was strict, and students studied Latin from early morning until late afternoon. Latin was the language of learned people. William learned about Roman heroes and Greek myths. He read stories of brave warriors and clever gods. These tales filled his mind with images of distant places and exciting adventures. When William was not in school, he walked by the river and watched the birds. He listened to the sound of water and felt the cool breeze. He saw farmers plowing fields and merchants selling goods at the market. The smells of fresh bread, hay, and leather mixed in the air. Every detail he noticed became a seed in his memory. On special days, traveling actors came to Stratford. They performed plays in the market square. The actors wore bright costumes and spoke in loud voices. The townspeople gathered around, laughing at the jokes and gasping at the drama. William was always among the crowd. He loved to see how actors could turn simple words into powerful stories. He watched their gestures, their faces, and the way they moved. He wondered one day if he could write stories like that. Life in the 1500s was not easy. Disease often spread through the town. Families stayed inside when the plague came. Shops closed and streets fell silent. William saw how fear and sadness took hold of people. He learned that life could change suddenly and without warning. He also saw kindness in neighbors who helped each other in hard times. These experiences deepened his understanding of people's feelings. At home, William's family struggled sometimes. His father's business did not always succeed, and money could be tight. William had two older sisters who died when they were very young. He knew how quickly life could end. These losses made him careful and thoughtful. He learned to value every moment and every person. Despite challenges, William loved learning. He practiced writing in the margins of his father's prayer book. He made up little poems and sketches when no one was watching. At night, he read by candlelight and dreamed of faraway lands. His teacher noticed his talent for words and encouraged him to work hard. By the time William was 18, he faced a choice. His family needed help at home. His education could not continue forever. He married Anne Hathaway, who lived in a nearby village. Soon they had their first child. Yet William felt a strong call to pursue a different life. He wanted to write and to see the world beyond Stratford. With a heavy heart, he said goodbye to his wife and new child and traveled to London. He carried a few belongings, some clothes, a small bag of coins, and his growing collection of stories. The journey was long and uncertain. He walked through fields and villages, wondering what awaited him in the great city. Even as he left Stratford, the town remained alive in his memory. The sound of the river, the feel of the wooden benches in school, the bright laughter of the market square, all these memories became the seeds of his future plays and poems. In London, he would draw on these memories to create new worlds on stage. But the roots of his genius lay in the green fields and quiet streets of Stratford, where a curious boy learned to notice, to wonder, and to dream. In those early years, Shakespeare collected experiences like notes in a song. He stored the small moments, the smell of fresh bread, the song of birds, the fear of disease, the joy of festivals. These simple memories formed the foundation for the greatest stories ever told. From the banks of the Avon to the stages of London, William Shakespeare carried Stratford's spirit in his heart and used it to shape the world of theater forever. William Shakespeare arrived in London as a young man with little money but a strong hope. The city was full of noise and activity. Narrow streets were crowded with carts, horses, and people. The air smelled of smoke, spices, and fresh bread from the bakeries. William felt both excited and nervous. He did not know anyone at first, and he needed work to pay for food and shelter. He found a small room to share with other newcomers. The room was simple, with a wooden bed and a small window. William bought plain clothes and ate simple meals of bread, cheese, and sometimes meat. Every day, he walked the streets looking for work. He passed the great river Thames, where boats carried goods from faraway places. He watched sailors unloading barrels of spices and silk. He listened to travelers' tales of distant lands. All these sights and sounds filled his mind with new ideas. William's chance came when he joined a theater company called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. At first, he did backstage work. He carried heavy props, set up simple scenery, and copied pages of the play scripts by hand. Copying scripts was slow work, but it taught him how other writers used words and how actors spoke them. He watched the actors rehearse on the wooden stage. He saw how they used their voices and bodies to bring stories to life. He took notes on their gestures, their pauses, and the way the light fell on them. Over time, William began to write short scenes for the company. His first works were small and rough. He wrote in simple dialogue, with clear characters and action. The actors read his scenes and gave him advice. They showed him how to add drama and humor. William learned quickly. He practiced writing every day, trying new ideas and changing words until they felt right. The company performed in a few different playhouses, but they needed a better home. In 1599, the actors and their supporters decided to build a new theater. They chose a spot on the south bank of the Thames where large crowds gathered. The new playhouse was round with 3 levels of seating. In the middle stood the stage, open to the sky. They called it the Globe. William invested his own money in the building. He believed in the power of good theater to move people's hearts. When the Globe opened, it could hold nearly 3,000 people. The groundlings paid a penny to stand close to the stage. Wealthy patrons sat in covered galleries above. On opening night, the buzz of excitement was loud. William watched as actors stepped into the sunlight and spoke his words. He saw laughter rise from the crowd during comedies and gasps of surprise during tragedies. He felt a strong pride in his new theater. At the Globe, William wrote some of his most famous plays. He created gripping scenes of young love in Romeo and Juliet. He imagined secret forests full of fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream. He explored the dangers of power in Julius Caesar. He gave voice to deep grief in Hamlet's famous soliloquy, "To be or not to be." He mixed humor and sadness with rich, clear language. Each play spoke to every person in the audience, no matter their station in life. King's Men, the new name for his company under King James I, performed William's works for both commoners and royalty. Queen Elizabeth I had enjoyed his earlier histories. Under King James, William wrote darker dramas like Macbeth, filled with witches, ambition, and fate. The king liked stories of the supernatural, and Macbeth's eerie scenes of prophecy and murder fit his taste. William adjusted his writing to please the court, while keeping the depth that made his plays resonate with all kinds of people. Through these years, William worked long hours. He rose before dawn and often wrote by candlelight late into the night. He revised scenes, added songs and comic moments, and polished each speech until it shone. Actors respected his dedication. They knew that every word William chose mattered. London life was not easy. At times, the plague closed the playhouses. William and the actors waited for the disease to pass. When they could not perform, he used the quiet weeks to write new plays and sonnets. He trusted that his work would find an audience when theaters reopened. By the end of the 1590s, William Shakespeare had become a leading playwright in London. His name appeared on playbills, and people spoke of him with admiration. He had come from the quiet fields of Stratford and learned the art of drama in the busy streets and stages of London. His simple beginnings did not hold him back. Instead, they sharpened his vision. He understood both the common man and the courtier. He wrote comedies to make people laugh, histories to stir their pride, and tragedies to touch their hearts. He showed that every life, whether rich or poor, mattered in the great story of humanity. William's journey on the London stage was just beginning. The Globe stood as a symbol of his new home and new life. He had planted the seeds of his genius in Stratford, but London was where those seeds bloomed for all to see. And so, with pen in hand and imagination ablaze, William Shakespeare stepped forward, ready to write the plays that would echo through the ages. William Shakespeare wrote some of his greatest plays in a time of both sadness and success. After his son Hamnet died in 1596, Shakespeare felt deep pain. He poured this sorrow into his tragedies. In Hamlet, the young prince mourns his father and struggles with his own thoughts. His famous speech, "To be or not to be," shows how Hamlet wonders if life is worth its sorrows. In Macbeth, Shakespeare explored ambition and guilt. A brave soldier named Macbeth kills his king to gain power. His wife, Lady Macbeth, urges him on, but both are haunted by the evil of their deeds. They see ghosts and hear voices, and their mind's darkness grows until tragedy overcomes them. King Lear is another tragedy born from deep emotion. An aging king divides his kingdom among his daughters, only to be betrayed by two of them. Lear wanders in a storm, losing his mind and heart. Shakespeare used Lear's fall to show how pride and misunderstanding can destroy a family. Audiences wept for Lear's grief and the loss of loyalty. Each tragedy touched people's hearts because Shakespeare understood human pain and regret. Even in his darkest plays, Shakespeare offered moments of hope. In The Tempest, written near the end of his career, a magician named Prospero lives on an island. He forgives those who wronged him, choosing mercy over revenge. In his last speech, Prospero gives up his magic, saying he will live in peace. This act of forgiveness reflects Shakespeare's own desire for calm after years of turmoil. Shakespeare's life was not all work on stage. In 1613, the Globe Theatre burned down during a performance. The fire destroyed the building, but the company rebuilt it soon after. Shakespeare invested in the new theatre too, showing his faith in art and community. As he grew older, he returned to his hometown of Stratford-upon-Avon. He bought a large house called New Place and lived there with his wife, Anne Hathaway. Surrounded by his children, Susanna and Judith, he spent his final years in a quieter life, writing less but reflecting on his achievements. When Shakespeare died in 1616, he was 52 years old. Friends and fellow actors John Hemingway and Henry Condell gathered his plays and published them in the First Folio in 1623. This collection saved 36 of his plays, ensuring they would not be lost. The First Folio became a treasured book for readers and actors. Over the centuries, Shakespeare's works traveled around the world. His stories have been translated into every major language. Directors set his plays in modern cities or in new cultures, proving that his themes of love, power, jealousy, and forgiveness are universal. His words entered everyday speech. Phrases like "break the ice" and "all that glitters is not gold" come from his plays. People study Shakespeare in schools and universities. They learn about his clear yet beautiful language. Actors perform his plays in theaters large and small. Modern filmmakers adapt his stories for movies and television. The rebuilt Globe Theatre in London welcomes audiences who stand under the open sky, just as in Shakespeare's time. Shakespeare's legacy lives on because he wrote about the human heart. He showed us joy in comedy, tears in tragedy, and wisdom in forgiveness. His plays remind us that life can be both dark and bright, and that our choices shape our fate. Even after more than 400 years, William Shakespeare's words continue to inspire and connect people across the world. William Shakespeare began his life in 1564 in the small town of Stratford-upon-Avon. As a boy, he learned Latin at the local grammar school and watched traveling actors perform in the market square. These early memories stayed with him when, at age 18, he married Anne Hathaway and soon left for London. In the busy city, he joined the Lord Chamberlain's men, carried props, copied scripts, and learned how actors brought words to life. He wrote his first plays, and in 1599 helped build the Globe Theatre on the south bank of the Thames. There, his comedies made people laugh, his histories stirred pride, and his tragedies, like Hamlet and Macbeth, touched hearts with deep questions about life and loss. After his son Hamnet died in 1596, Shakespeare's work grew darker, but he always offered moments of hope, especially in The Tempest. In 1613, the Globe burned and was rebuilt. In 1616, Shakespeare returned to Stratford and lived his final years in New Place, surrounded by family. His friends published the first folio in 1623, saving 36 of his plays for the world. Shakespeare showed how a curious mind, hard work, and simple words can change the way people see life. The lesson we learn is this: every small experience and moment of learning can grow into something great. Notice the world around you, practice your skills each day, and share your stories with others. In this way, your own creativity can bloom. Congratulations on listening through Shakespeare's full story and improving your English skills. What helped Shakespeare become a great writer? A. His early school lessons and observing actors. B. His work as a glove maker. Please comment A or B below. If you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe to our channel for more free English learning content. To help us cover production costs and keep making quality materials, you can also donate. Your support means we can continue this work for you. Thank you.